Vince Russo secretly worked for the USA Network. We'll get into this, bro. Plus, AEW stars have been pulled from the Fight Forever video game, and a title match has been added to AEW All Out this weekend. It's all in the wrestling news right now. Is this a swerve? I guess we're going to find out, aren't we, sir?
We are.
Vince Russo has dropped a little bombshell on his YouTube channel, saying, I've been keeping a little secret for the last 2 years that I want to talk about. When I start talking about the network, people actually think they know more about the TV networks and where the network stands pertaining to Monday Night Raw and its audience and the numbers. They think they know more than I do. I've not said this publicly, but from right before Mania in 2020 up until this past Mania, for 2 years, I was consulting for the USA Network. For 2 years, bro. The USA Network paid me very, very, very well. I got in contact with the vice president at the USA Network who was overseeing Raw. He knew who I was and called me back immediately. We had a long, long discussion. The first thing he did was he went directly to Vince McMahon. So for 2 years, I was consulting weekly with the USA Network. I heard the number and the rating and the viewership and the return on the investment all the time. Don't tell me I don't know what the flip I'm talking about. When it comes to numbers, I don't care if it's 1999 or 2020. I know where they stand. I know what they're looking for. I know what's acceptable and unacceptable because I had communication with them for 2 straight years. So Vince Russo, sorry, that was genuine cough in my system there. Wow. That wasn't a weird bit of sarcasm. There we go. So Vince Russo here claiming that for 2 years he was working for the USA Network. Now that's something I don't think you put out into the world if it wasn't in at least some semblance the truth.
Yeah.
You know? And in terms of what this means, I don't think this means that he's not working directly for WWE, but he's certainly got the ear of somebody within one of the networks. And there is a power that comes with that.
Yeah, for sure. Like, as you said, I don't think it's not necessarily true, but maybe it's not... maybe he wasn't as involved as perhaps what it seems with the wording of everything in here. Maybe it's not as much of an important role as what perhaps might think.
It's a consultancy role. So like I've known people who've done consultancy roles. I've done a bit of consultancy stuff, and it's basically you're not sort of telling them this is what you're going to do now. Yeah. They're coming to you and going, what do you make of this? And you go, well, actually, you could do this, you could do this, you could do this. And then it's up to the person at the other end to either take that advice on board and run with it or ignore it completely.
Yeah.
So Vince Russo there is kind of just being this other... And it's not a bad shout for USA to have somebody who is outside of the WWE system who has an understanding of the wrestling world, who they can go, what do you make of this being said here? Is Vince Russo the right person to do it? No, that's for you to editorialize at home, I think. Moving towards the video game world, away from the TV networks, 2 popular AEW names have gone from Fight Forever. What's happened here, Andrew?
So from Fightful Select, they are saying Fightful Select was able to confirm that Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler, FTR, are not slated to be a part of the first version of the AEW Fight Forever game as of this moment. It was stated that they were at least made in the model phase of the game. We're told that FTR were informed of the call and weren't too happy about it, as being involved in video games usually also comes with a significant bonus as well. Fightful were told that they were originally set to be included in the game, but by spring of 2022 they had been removed.
What are normally some of the reasons, Andrew? Because you're very much the goodwill ambassador for Cultaholic and Triple Jump. You kind of bridge the gap between those realms. What's some of the reasons behind guys being dropped from video games like this?
Now, one of the main ones I'm thinking of here was reading this, because it says part of the first version of the AEW Fight Forever game. Now, this makes me think that we could perhaps be getting some DLC packs in terms of more characters being added. We know that the roster for the AEW video game is a little bit more condensed to what maybe we expect now of wrestling video games. And I feel as though AEW might be releasing some more character packs down the line. Perhaps we'll get like more emphasis on tag team packs where, you know, you'd want FTR to be the front and center of that pack if you did bring it out. But for And that's the only thing I can think of, because them being like the top guys, there you go. The top guys that they are. It would be very strange to not have them represented in the game in some capacity, and that's why I'm feeling as though there is going to be some DLC packs, and they will be, as I said, like the front and center of that.
Yeah, they would be. Yeah, it'd be, as you say, it'd be weird for them to not be featured at all. You know, since they currently hold 2 different sets of tag team titles.
Yes.
You know, so they're doing good things in AEW at the moment, and it'd be weird to not have them in it. Obviously, historically throughout the past, there's been other hilarious reasons why people have been kept in and dropped from video games. My favorite being when WWF fell out of favor with Paul White.
Yeah.
Around the time that No Mercy came out, they dropped him from the video game, so he wouldn't get any money from it. So they they shoehorned Steven Richards from Ride to Censor into all the storyline bits that they'd had with the Big Show in the career mode. So you basically played out in No Mercy for the Nintendo 64. You played out the road to WrestleMania 2000, which was the Fatal 4-Way match, but instead of the Big Show, it's randomly Steven Richards.
Oh,
which is so weird. So like with Steven Richards doing all the stuff that Big Show did,
saying
all the things that Big Show did, very random. So I'm fingers crossed that we get 2 versions of Steven Richards instead of FTR in AEW Fight Forever. Title match announced for All Out, which is this weekend, a weekend which has made wrestling journalists in the UK go, oh, what? Really? More? Oh, God. Clash at the Castle on Saturday, All Out and Worlds Collide from NXT on Sunday. All Leave is cancelled. The AEW TBS women's title will be on the line, or the TBS title rather than the women's part, at All Out, with Jade Cargill defending against Athena. So Cargill hoyed out an open challenge on Friday's Rampage. Athena went, I'll have it, and then they had a big old fight.
Yeah.
How do we feel about Athena's overall booking in All Elite Wrestling?
I'm sort of 50-50 at the moment. Obviously, it's incredible to have Athena in AEW and see her wrestling on the weekly, pretty much. It's like one of the coolest things to see after not seeing her for quite some time. Going up against Jade Cargill is a difficult one, because she's obviously a star in AEW right now, and she's basically just making her wrestling career with this undefeated streak with the TBS Championship. I feel as though it could possibly be too soon to take it off her, even though she's held it for she's been undefeated, I think, for like 500 days or something at this point, and she's had 36 wins with the belt so far, undefeated streak. I don't think you take that away from her just yet. But then the problem is you've got someone as good as Athena, and I feel like this is something that happens in AEW when they bring someone new in. They kind of just get put in these feuds. They either win and get the title, or they don't, and then they kind of are just left swimming. Yeah, just floundering in this pool of nothingness for a little while. And that's such a shame as well, because then I feel like the momentum is taken away from that person's debut. What about you?
I think Athena's not. I think this maybe. She's certainly still in the single digits in terms of singles matches she's had in AEW. There hasn't been many. There's obviously, this feels like a very quick effort to go, right, let's polish off a storyline that we started a long while ago.
Yeah.
But I'm happy that she's in the mix.
Yeah.
I think they could have a cracker of a match.
Oh, without a doubt.
Give them a bit of time, they'll have a good old time. And I hope it does lead to something more consistent for Athena. But again, it comes back to that same old boring problem of there's too many cooks, too many cooks. Too many cooks, too many cooks in AEW's locker room. And I feel like that's an issue, a bigger issue to be addressed. I'm excited to see Athena and Jade Cargill do a thing, though. That'll be nice. What's the rest of the card looking like for AEW's All Out this weekend?
So, as we said, we've got the TBS Women's title, Jade Cargill versus Athena. We've got Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs coming to blows after what's transpired between the two. We've got Wardlow and FTR versus Jay Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns, and I can't wait for that one. We got the Casino Ladder match, and the participants are to be announced yet. We've got Bryan Danielson versus Chris Jericho, which is going to be, I think that's going to be a banger, me. Jungle Boy and Christian Cage, after everything that's transpired between them two as well. Let's hope things don't get too heated between the two. We've got AEW World Tag Team Champions Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland defending their titles against the Acclaimed. We've got the interim AEW Women's World title match between Toni Storm, Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, and Hikaru Shida. And finally, we have the finals of the AEW AEW Trios Tag Team Tournament as well.
Still no world title match announced. And this is very
No.
out of character for AEW because they tend to kind of announce that big world title match like a good long while out and build to it as the center point. They're trying something a bit different here. Obviously, you had Mox and Punk on Wednesday and all that went on with there. It's looking very much like it'll be Mox and Punk, but potentially chucking Hangman Page in there as well.
I'd like that.
Yeah, I think
like that a lot.
I think because of the way the nature of the way it's been booked. Oh, well, he's had an idea.
You've just given me a huge
huge
idea there.
Oh, idea, right.
You throw Hangman Page in the mix, and Page is the one for CM Punk to do the heel turn on. Because I feel like a heel turn might not necessarily work against Jon Moxley too much in this whole thing. Maybe you do it to Hangman Page instead.
Intriguing.
That was just off the top of my head there. Please continue.
I like it. I presume by Wednesday we'll have a world title match for the show.
Yeah.
Or maybe no world title match at all.
Yeah.
Because that's a strong card.
That's a very strong card.
That's a strong card without adding a world title match.
Yeah.
So we might not even get one. And that'd be all right, I think. I thought I'd be fine with it.
I think
wrestling's
Chicago
wrestling.
might not be fine with it. They want to see their boy. Come on.
Oh, what am I thinking? Of course. it's Chicago. I forgot.
It's Chicago.
You can't have Punk on the books and not have him there. Ignore what I said. Make that the 10th match of the night. There you go. Punk's going to turn heel in Chicago.
Does it work?
Oh.
Who knows? Next week's going to be amazing. Oh, this week's going to be amazing.
This week is going to be a really exciting week for the world of wrestling. Busy as all heck, but exciting. Myself and Andrew will be seeing you in Cardiff.
Oh, I can't wait.
Clash at the Castle, making the journey down later on this week. Can't wait to be there. We're going to go and have some drinks after Clash at the Castle. Keep an eye on our socials for where. There's someone asked like, oh, when's the Cultaholic show happening? I said, well, there isn't a Cultaholic show happening. It's lovely that people think that like we're putting on a show. We're not. Basically, we're just gonna go to a pub after the show. Come and have a pint with us if you fancy it. Pretty chill.
You can come watch us do news if you want. That can be the show.
I mean, you can, if you want to.
Just have an audience.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be a nice thing.
That would be pretty cool.
We'll see you in Cardiff if you're coming along. If not, keys.
Love you, bye.